Hey guys, it's me again. I hope your week has been great as you've been reading through Proverbs. We're gonna start right off with some of the prompts. And I have to say, I'm really sorry because we did not double check the submissions and we actually missed one from last week. So I'm just gonna start with that one. This one is by Taylor and Lori, and they used a verse, Proverbs 4:23, and they drew a bunch of different aspects from that, and I really love it. So keep on doing that and send that kind of stuff in. Last week's prompt was found in Proverbs 11:6, and the prompt was draw an elaborate trap to catch any evil that comes your way. And so Emily did one, and this is an evil man slipping on a banana peel, falling down the stairs into a pool of piranhas. So that's pretty cool. This week I've done one found in Proverbs 18:10, and it says, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe." So you can either draw your own tower or you can finish mine. And when you do that, send that right in. And you may have noticed there are a lot of things that contradict each other in Proverbs, or opposites, if you want to look at it that way. Like the wicked and the good, the foolish and the prudent man, misfortune and prosperity, and so many others. So if you want to take something like that and illustrate it and send it in, that would be great. And also, if you're looking for a challenge, go check out Ryan's activities, because those are super cool. He gives you a verse of the day and then certain questions to think over with your family. It's super fun. So keep on doing the activities with your family. We love seeing it. Keep on sending stuff in, and have a great week. Bye.
Hey, it's Aaron and Terry. We are back in Proverbs. Thank you, Anna, for all the wonderful information and activities. That's really been a great thing for everyone to participate in. So thank you for doing that. Aaron, we are continuing to talk about Proverbs. We are doing 31 days in May, 31 Proverbs. We're going through those. It's been going well so far, right?
I think so, yes. Today, May 17th. So today, don't forget to read chapter 17. And yeah, last week we went through each of the chapters from that week. And today we're going to do a little differently. We're really going to give an overview of what we learned, what each of us learned from our time in Proverbs this week. So with that, we're going to jump in. And Terry, who's starting?
I think I can go, Aaron. I think this is an interesting way to look at this. So okay. Let's get started. One thing that's occurred to me, here's one thing I'll pick out, that as we've been going through Proverbs, that hopefully we're all going through this together. I just want to make that point. But one thing I've learned is that I'm really learning about myself, right? That's a good thing. Proverbs is filled with wisdom and all kinds of life situations that we can learn from. But what I'm really starting to see, especially this week, is that I am learning about myself. One of the things that, here we are going through Proverbs, one of the things that caught my attention and reminded me was James 1:23 and 24. For if you listen to the word and don't obey, it is like glancing at your face in a mirror. You see yourself, walk away, and forget what you look like. As I read through Proverbs, it's like I'm looking in the perfect mirror. And it's my choice to do something with what I'm reading or to just walk away and forget about it all.
Yeah, and it's obviously when you look in a mirror, you're not forgetting, you're remembering. We know who we are. We know what we look like. And so forgetting what you look like just seems absurd. Exactly. But that's also the point.
Exactly, right? Is it going to stick with us? Just like Romans 12:2 was my other reminder. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, perfect, and pleasing will. Am I doing this? Am I paying enough attention? Am I willing to be transformed? Am I allowing God's wisdom in Proverbs to change who I am? Am I listening or am I forsaking? Am I discerning or do I have no sense? Am I a kind-hearted woman or a ruthless man? That's Proverbs 11:16 for those of you that have been following along. The point is that I have a choice. I can read through Proverbs and I can look in the mirror and I can decide, am I going to do something different with my life and be more on God's path for me? Or am I going to continue in my own ways? I might just walk away and forget what I look like.
Yeah, and that just won't work well. And you know what I also like about this verse is when it talks about us having wisdom, then we'll be able to understand what God's will is. And boy, is that something that I think we all really aspire to understand, is what is God's will for my life?
Right. Yeah. So what am I going to do with Proverbs? That's what I'm getting out of the past week of me reviewing and kind of the first half of Proverbs that we've gone through. So I do have a movie reference, Aaron.
Excellent.
Men in Black 3, Will Smith, Agent J and Agent K here. They're in the middle of, if anybody's seen this, they're in the middle of trying to solve a particular situation. And Agent K says, well, we need to have some pie. And Will Smith is like, pie? What? We're in the middle of this. We got to fix this. This is urgent. We can't just sit down and have pie. And so Will Smith is just very resistant to sitting down and having pie. What he doesn't realize is that sometimes you just have to let the pie do its job, right? Take a minute, take some time, put things in perspective, allow things to happen and to be absorbed into your mind and into your spirit. And we don't always do that. We try to rush through, right? Are we just tearing through these chapters in Proverbs because we have to? Or am I actually trying to do something with it and recognizing that I need to transform myself?
Yeah, take time to absorb it into who we are, to meditate on it. I know we don't always like to use that word meditate, but a lot of times, just spending time thinking and mulling it over really will help it get to where it needs to be.
Right. So that's what struck me, Aaron. What about you?
Excellent. I appreciate your movie references as well. Well, I'm going to start off with something that's really an encouragement from myself. Okay. I'm going to be selfish at the beginning here. And that's from Proverbs 16:31. It says this: gray hair is a crown of splendor. It is attained by a righteous life. And I've been noticing lately that I have a lot more gray hair than I've ever had before. And as I read this verse, it really makes the gray not seem quite so bad. I mean, even my goatee or my whiskers are turning all white and gray. No more dark hair like I used to. Gray hair usually comes with age, because you don't usually see anybody dyeing their hair gray. At least I haven't noticed that. Maybe I need to pay attention. But
trends, yeah.
Yeah. So it really is a privilege, to think that God has granted me the number of days in my life so that I can maybe actually have these gray hair naturally. So it really is a blessing to me. So I'll count my gray hairs, and yes, I may look like that someday if I continue to.
Gray hair is wisdom. Gray hair is wisdom.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you, Gandalf. Yeah. And my blessings from God. I'll count each and every one of these gray hairs as a blessing from God. It just shows that my life has been blessed, and here I am. Right. So yeah, I can look at like either one of these guys, and that's a good thing. So now for a little twist, for those of you who are covering up your gray hair, that's okay as well. But as you do, thank God for the time and the age of your life, and that you have been blessed with that life. So now you can color away.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I've noticed I do have a few. Mine aren't gray though. Mine are blonde. So
blonde. Okay.
I don't think I'm as wise as you, Aaron, but I have a few blonde hairs where I didn't before.
You can call them blonde if you want, Terry.
That's right.
That's right. So that was from chapter 16, and there was several other verses in chapter 16 that really caught my attention as well. And starting with verse 9, I'm going to skip around here a little, but I'm going to read a few. In his heart, a man plans his course, but the Lord directs or determines his steps. Then verse 3, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and your plans will succeed or will have success. And then verse 4, the Lord works out everything for his own ends. So we humans have so many plans. We really like to plan. I had plans for this spring, and obviously that didn't work out so well. I'm assuming that's the way for others as well. I've had plans for my life. I've had plans for my money. And there's times when those plans just don't go my way. It's just kind of a basic fact.
Right. So it's funny that you mentioned that, because we've been watching Some Good News with John Krasinski, and he had Jon Stewart on asking a question from a graduate. And one of the quotes that Jon Stewart had that I really loved, he said, stop completing things and start living them.
That's right.
So this is it, right? Here's our plans. I made a to-do list this morning, right? I have things I want to cross off. I have things I want to do, but my plans are not God's plans all the time.
Absolutely. And a lot of times when we're reading through this, it's really telling me that, maybe I've got the wrong perspective. Too much I, me, my, mine. Not enough asking where God wants me to go and what he wants me to do. That's really what it is about when he's directing our steps. Do I really trust God enough for him to lead me? Am I willing to commit, to the Lord, whatever I do? And am I able to be fine with where God leads me? Or do I still want to control that direction? As a Christian, I've already given my life to God, right? Mm-hmm. But I still try to hang on to the plans and determine where my steps are going. There's an old statement that that I saw on bumper stickers. God is my co-pilot. Mm. But I think that's incorrect. God really should be my pilot, and I should be letting him direct where I'm going. I should be getting in, that car or plane, and wherever he takes me, I should be very happy to be there with him.
Exactly.
And let him lead.
Yeah, exactly. So many times that we want to take control, right? We want to be in control, especially as Americans, right?
Especially
independent, selfish Americans. We want control because we believe our way is the best way. And God says, no, not exactly, right? Let's pay attention to my ways. You'll learn much more and have a richer life.
Much richer. And it's all about me letting control go and not trying to control everything and trusting that God really does have my best interest at heart. And I know he does, but that's still really hard.
Is that tough for a bear to do, Aaron? Let go?
It is very tough for a bear to do, by the way, in case that wasn't clear.
Understood. Okay, good.
So yeah, then later in chapter 16, verse 25, there is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end it leads to death, like walking off a cliff. If I really let God truly determine each and every step I'm going to take, I won't have to worry about wandering off that cliff because God is there to protect me.
Right. We've even had, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, so can we let him? That's really the question.
Right. Yeah. Teresa and I have even had a couple situations in the past couple of weeks where we felt like we knew what we were doing and we were trying to force things to happen in our lives. And afterwards, when you get a little perspective and you look back and say, God was watching out for us because it didn't go the way that we wanted and it turned out better. And so I think even as we go through Proverbs, we're starting to recognize that, and God will show us his way if we let him. If we don't force our will, bad things won't happen. We won't step off a cliff, but we have to let him take control.
That's right. And now that I'm older, because I do have the gray hairs to show for it,
Wiser.
You can look, yes, the wisdom. You can look back at your life and say, you know what? Thank God he was there directing, because the way I was going wouldn't have gotten me here. And this is so much better than I could have ever expected.
Right. I'd still be in a ditch somewhere.
That's right. So truly trust that he's going to take us down the right path and let him. It was so encouraging to read that from Proverbs chapter 16 this week.
Perfect. I really appreciate your perspective, Aaron.
Thanks, Terry. It was a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. So everyone, hope you're reading Proverbs. Enjoy each chapter. Let it absorb into you and let God direct your ways, not your own will.
Absolutely. And share with us your journey through this on the private Facebook page, or email us and we'll share it next week. But let us know how your journey through Proverbs is going as well, because Terry and I have really enjoyed this.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Aaron. We'll see you next time.
Very good. Thanks, Terry. Bye-bye.
Bye.